This is my story of how I rode this boat across the Pacific Ocean. That's me, Cassidy. Come relive every unforgettable moment with me through the incredible highs and the intense lows during my 38 days, 9 hours, and 3 minutes at sea.
Over these next few days post-capsize, I was really just trying to readjust to our new normal on the boat. I was trying to readjust to our 3 hours on, 3 hours off again after taking the night of the capsize off rowing, and then the following night off because Kate and Elena had generously offered to row that night since Laura and I were still shaken up. But mostly I was trying to adjust to our new fixed seat. The fixed seat was made up of 3 immersion suits. Immersion suits are the big red suits that we would have worn if we would have abandoned our boat for any reason and gotten onto the life raft.
Tell us all about our brand new, one-of-a-kind Rannick ocean rowing seat.
Lazy Boy 5000? Well,
it's when you want to row an ocean, but you don't really want to.
Glad you asked. We have a 3-part seat here consisting of not 1, not 2, but 3 survival suits. We have 1 for the base, 1 for your butt, and 1 for your back.
They get a back brace, man.
It's really high-tech, people. Works wonders.
Yeah, actually,
it's more comfortable.
At first, the fixed seat was so comfortable. Going from the hard rolling seat to this big cushion was amazing. But the sit-up didn't last. We ended up changing it over some time as we realized the backrest wasn't actually helpful. For me, I found I really wanted to relax into the backrest, which just made rowing challenging and awkward. It was hard for me to stay disciplined and sitting really upright when I had that cushion to lean into. So we did end up changing that after a while. And everybody's version of that seat was a little bit different. We had to move the cushions around every time we switched seats and find what worked for us. From before the race had even started up until days 11, 12, 13, we had intended to row in the rowing position closest to the cabin we were staying in. So Kate and I would row in the rowing position closest to the stern cabin, which you've seen me in all of these videos so far. And Elena and Laura would row in the middle seat, leaving the bow seat open for cooking, using the bucket, etc. However, after a few days in the fixed seat, Kate and I realized we wouldn't be able to maintain no leg movement for 30 more days. From then on, we started switching every other day. So one day I would be in the fixed seat, and then the next day I would be in the middle seat, which was the rolling seat. Having this rotation was super helpful. It gave a break on the awkward position of the fixed seat, but then also gave us a break from the hard rolling seat and gave us a nice cushion. So it was a blessing in disguise. For some reason, the shifts post-capsize felt so slow. I think a big reason for this is we lost a lot of our wind and a lot of our waves we were surfing. So inherently, we lost speed. After having quite a few days of 3 to 4 knots on average, and then surfing down waves between 6 and 8 knots, sometimes faster, going back to 1 to 2 knots felt awful. It felt so slow and so sluggish. Once I did start getting adjusted to my shifts again, I realized I didn't need to sleep every off shift. That would have been 12 hours of sleep, and although I was exerting a lot of energy rowing, I just realized I didn't need that much sleep anymore. I was adjusted to the 3-hour sleep schedule, and I realized I could start utilizing my time differently. So during one of my off shifts, I washed my hair and washed my face with soap for the first time, and it was magical. I really felt like a new person after this. And during another off shift, I called Ariel Schmidt to answer some of her questions. She had chatted with Trent post capsize and had asked him if I'd be interested in calling her and leaving her a voicemail answering some questions she had about what happened. This call was recorded and she posted it on her TikTok for anybody who's interested in watching that. And for those of you who don't know, Ariel Schmidt is the whole reason I learned about ocean rowing in the first place, which could be an entire video on its own. Part of getting readjusted again meant that unfortunately I didn't take a ton of notes these days, and I didn't take a ton of videos either. These few days were all about getting reacquainted to our shifts, finding a new rhythm in this fixed rowing seat. It felt like we were learning our boat all over again. But I do have lots of letters to go through, 3 days worth. On day 10, I have a letter from my sister Angela, and she says, "Go, Sass, go." Day 10, whoop! You've got this. I'm so proud of you and can't wait to hear about everything. I love you so much. Also, I'm secretly writing this while you're laughing with Yaya. Day 10 from Trent. He says, 10 days of adventure, challenges, laughs, memories, stories, triumphs, and a tiny bit of suffering. You're stronger than the waves ever wish they could be. Soak it all up. It'll be great memories later. Day 11 is from my mom. She says, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you think, and more loved than you will ever know. And day 11 from Trent. He says, hopefully it's getting warmer soon. I imagine you're killing it every single day. I hope you're having fun, eating plenty, drinking lots, and just straight vibing. Remember, one of the best years of music to listen to is 2008. Also 1/3 of the way to beating the world record. See you soon. As you all know, we did not beat the world record, but I do think at this point we did still have hope that we could. We did mental math every day, trying to see if we rode this many miles a day, how many days until we would reach Kauai. Day 12 from my Aunt Tish. If I don't have red, I use blue, by Pablo Picasso. And that's quite funny. Just the timing of these cards, I can't even explain to you guys. They just always seemed to match what was happening in the moment. I remember reading this and thinking, if I don't have a rolling seat, I'll use a fixed seat. And it's just, I don't know, the cards just told our story. You guys knew what was happening before we did. And last but not least, day 12 from Trent. He says, by now, I hope you've seen lots of wildlife. I'm hoping for some dolphins and whales for you. Today marks another day on your amazing journey. Stay strong and resilient. Each stroke of the oars are another one closer to the finish line. Keep enjoying every second of the journey. We didn't see dolphins and whales at this point yet, but as most of you know, they did make a visit, and I will definitely share those videos when those days happen.